Hello, I'm Chance the Riot,
Yeah, I'm Sergio.
and this is Brick Wall Cinema.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
He slimed me.
We're ready to believe you.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
That's a big one.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Enough, I get the point.
Welcome to Brick Wall Cinema, and on today's episode, we are continuing Ghostbusters month with Ghostbusters 2, the 1989 classic. I want to say classic. Okay, I'm gonna phrase that. The 1989 sequel to Ghostbusters 1 from 1984. It stars everyone coming back for it. Bill Murray as Peter Venkman, Dan Aykroyd as Raymond Stantz, Sigourney Weaver as Dana Barrett, Harold Ramis as Egon Spengler, Rick Moranis as Louis Tully, Ernie Hudson as Winston Zeddemore, Annie Potts as Janine Melnitz, and two newcomers, Peter McNichol as Janusz Poha and Kurt Fuller as Jack Hardenmayer, aka watered down Walter Peck from the first movie, or Water Peck. Get it?
No, I do not.
He played the character that was like hating on the Ghostbusters at Town Hall, or City Hall. Basically the same character that was in the first movie. Yeah. Rated PG, directed by Ivan Reitman and produced by him, and written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. It came out on June 16th, 1989, with a budget of $30 to $40 million budget, and it did a good job at the box office at $215 million worldwide. But sometimes the box office doesn't really say how the audience and critics feel. On Rotten Tomatoes, it says for critics, they gave it a 55%, and audiences gave it a 61%. So, sort of meet in the middle by saying it's not good, but also not bad either. In a way, it's saying it's all right, it's there. Do we feel the same way? Maybe, maybe not. Let's start off.
Find out.
What?
Let's find out.
Oh, yeah, let's find out. So let's give a little rundown on what happens in Ghostbusters 2. During the 5 years following the Gozer incident in the first film, the city of New York somehow came to blame the Ghostbusters for all the damage that had happened and sued them. The company went bankrupt, and the heroes took more mundane jobs. Raymond Stantz owns an occult bookstore. He and Winston Zeddemore perform in their old uniforms at children parties. Peter Venkman is a cable TV host discussing the paranormal, and Egon Spengler is doing sociology research. But the ghosts start returning, and soon the Ghostbusters are back in business. Their top priority is to investigate a strange river of slime in an abandoned subway tunnel that seems to thrive on negative emotions and produce new ghost hauntings. Meanwhile, Dana Barrett now works at a museum as an art restorer. Her boss becomes a Renfield for the ghost of Vigo the Carpathian, an ancient tyrant magically preserved in a painting. Vigo has Dana's infant son Oscar kidnapped, intending to take over this child's body. When the Ghostbusters finally figure things out and arrive on scene, the museum is cocooned by a slime that they were investigating, and maintained as a physical manifestation of the negative emotions of New Yorkers. The Ghostbusters fight Vigo on the inside, aided by the spirit of New Yorkers and a holiday spirit on the outside to save the day. Now let's just start by saying this, Sergio. As I'm reading the synopsis, I realize the best way to summarize what happens in this movie is this Bobby Brown song, On Our Own. The opening line in that song is, "Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. They called the Ghostbusters and they're in control. Had them throwing a party for a bunch of children. While all the while the slime was under the building. So they packed up their grip, got a grip, came equipped, got the proton pack from the back, and they split. Found out about Vigo, the master of evil. Tried to battle my boys? That's not legal." I should have just said that instead. But yeah, it's there now.
So the song that's in the movie, right?
Yes. By Bobby Brown.
Oh, okay. Well, I do have one question. In the synopsis, it said that it's using the holiday spirit. What holiday is this taking place on?
Okay, so I'm gonna get to that. So we're getting into this. I have a lot of notes for this, so let's just let's go. So I have a whole category called the timeline with this movie. So the movie starts off with them at the children party, like rushing to go get them. Let me start from the beginning.
Rushing to get to the party on time?
Yes, the movie starts off with the Ghostbusters driving a Ghostbusters mobile to a kids party. At the front door, you see that there's a wreath on the door. Let's assume that they put the wreath up early. So let's say it's around November. In that time, they got the lease for the firehouse back. They cleaned up the firehouse. They quit their jobs, rehired Janine as a receptionist. They got all their equipment back working, and they got a TV commercial running. And it ends on New Year's Day with everyone singing the New Year's song, I'll Lose Sang.
Sang?
You know, like, to all acquaintance be forgot. I'm not going to, that basically that song.
I don't know that song.
It's a very popular song, Sergio. Everyone sings that on New Year's Day. Like, once the ball drops, then everyone starts singing it.
I've never been there.
Have you seen it on TV?
No.
You've never seen New Year's happen on TV?
I've seen New Year's happen on TV, but I never heard of any song or two that happens right after.
Well, maybe because there's a lot of noise going on. People saying Happy New Year. You might be dismissing. They're not really focusing on TV on New Year's, like exactly 12 o'clock. Who's watching now thinking about it, who really watches the TV on New Year's Day, like at 12 o'clock, instead of just celebrating around them, people around them saying Happy New Year, Happy New Year. So I guess that it's easy to not acknowledge it, but it's a song that people play on New Year's.
Or it must have been popular more back then because of how the fact that people could just watch it on TV and they would celebrate it by singing the song at the end of the year.
No, it's just popular still. It's still popular.
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, but you don't, to be honest, Sergio, you do a lot of pop culture you're not really familiar with. That's why we have this podcast, so I can also inform you and the audience.
So, anyway, this is taking around like New Year's, right?
Right.
Okay.
From Thanksgiving to New Year's, all this happens.
That's in the course of like a few months.
2.
2?
No, 1.
Oh, 1 month?
1 month.
Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Yes.
That's 2 months.
Yes. No. Wait. That's end of Thanksgiving. That's almost 1 month. Like a month and a half, a month and a quarter. Let's say that.
All right. So, what do you want to talk about first?
Let's start off with how everyone has a new job in this movie. Every single person does. I briefly talked about it in the rundown, but let's just get into the details of it. Let's start with Peter Venkman. We see him hosting a talk show about physics called The World of the Psychic.
Wait, physics? You mean what's it called?
Physics. No, psychics.
Psychics.
That's what I said. I said psychics, right?
You said physics.
Oh, I meant to say psychics.
Okay. It's not that much different from what he was doing back in when he got the grant for the college. Except now it seemed like he was trying to piggyback off the fact like he got pretty popular as a Ghostbuster, but ever since like that business went down, he tried to do something more with it by making like a TV show, maybe like a TV show out of it. Which honestly quite fits with his character considering like how throughout this entire time in the first movie, he, how Dana perfectly explained it, he sounded like a game show host, which fits perfectly with how his character is now in this movie, where he is acting like a game show host to talk about all these kinds of psychics.
Right. I thought it was funny that they said that the role was going to end in 2016 because that's when the franchise almost died. Because that's when the reboot came out.
True. But it also is, I believe that coincides with the Mayan calendar, or was that 2012?
You're thinking 2012.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, let's say that
I'm kind of surprised they didn't reference that though.
Really?
Well, yeah, they were talking about the whole point of the show was talking about like the end of the world, and I was surprised they didn't mention like the Mayan calendar, which was a big thing back then because like many people thought that 2012 was going to be the end of the world.
Maybe it was a deleted scene.
Maybe. There was a lot of deleted scenes in this movie. You could tell.
Yeah. I don't know. It is weird how much they took out of this more than other movies. I don't know any other movie besides like Anchorman where they have like a whole so many deleted scenes that they made their own separate movie out of it with different side stories and stuff.
Except for this one, they didn't make any extra movie out of it.
Right.
I was wondering like You said that it felt like they toned down it a bit for the kids, right? Because of the cartoon that came out but wasn't canon.
Right, the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I can kind of see that, but I do I did kind of enjoy this like more than I thought I would because we stated before like the first Ghostbusters was good. I stated that I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, probably because of all the hype around it, because I keep hearing people talk about it saying how great it is. But I was surprised that I like this one almost as much as the first one. I would say
Oh,
around the same.
wow.
But you had a lot of problems with it, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna hide it. Yeah, I did.
Was it mostly like the deleted scenes, or was it because the humor felt more dumbed down?
Well, not really the humor. I can get what dumb humor. I can get with that, but it's what's the
No, not
word?
dumb humor. I meant like it felt like it was watered down. Like it
Yeah,
was
it felt like they watered it down. You're right. That was the reason why it sort of disconnected with me. And also, the baby didn't need to be in this movie. The only reason it was in here because they needed Vigo to get into the body of a baby. But why a baby? Why not just a regular person,
I
like a middle aged man
guess
or a middle aged
it's
woman?
not probably explained, but that's usually what happens with like sort of possession. They're trying to get their own life back, but try and be controlled. It's easier to take over a baby's body because they have no real consciousness or mental blocks that a adult would. It's weird like that. Also because you would have more restriction, more a harder time taking over a person who already has an idea of who they are. Well, that's my line of thinking of why he would want to take over a baby. But every single possession almost always takes over with a younger body, mostly because the person that's trying to take over the world or whatever tries to go for a younger body compared to a more matured body because, well, they get to live longer.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the characters and where they are now. Then we see Egon Spengler working in a laboratory, experimenting on human emotions and feels of rooms for some reason.
Yeah, that's actually not too far off what actual scientists do. They try to manipulate certain variables to see if they have any effect on the subjects. Like when he said to drop the temperature, make it higher, make it lower, that all is actually what a scientist would do if they were testing if the temperature has any effect on on the attitudes of the people inside the room. Which sounds kind of like weird science because of the all the random variables that they seem to be influencing. But it does kind of make sense when you're trying to figure out what exactly can affect the emotions of certain of people.
Yeah, he also was looking at trying to see if he could take away a puppy from a little kid.
I'm not sure what his thought process was with that,
Me
but
neither.
I'm not sure if anyone can figure out him.
Yeah. So then we also see Ray stands. He owns a bookstore called Ray's Occult and also works part time with Winston as a children's entertainer. And that's all we get about Winston for this whole movie. We don't get any other information on what he does outside of him being a TV, like working with kids.
Oh yeah, it's true. Like he pops up in random scenes but then disappears in the next one.
We're gonna get to that. That's another category I have. Dana
I mean, we're
Barrett.
already
I know. Sorry. Yeah. Trust me. We're going through all of it. Dana Barrett. She worked in a New York orchestra in the first movie, but 5 years later is now working art restoration. How? How? How do you do that? How do you get from working in the New York orchestra to restoring art in a museum?
Hmm. Well, it could be the fact that the arts restoration job probably has more consistent hours, which is a job that she probably wanted to get so that she can spend more time with the baby. But as far as I know, to get to anywhere in this kind of position, you just need connections or people who know about these kind of job openings. My guess is that she met someone who has great taste in art and during one of her orchestra performances, and she was able to get a job from there.
Do you think it
But
was Jan?
I know what you're saying by saying like it's a weird kind of transition from positions.
Do you think it was Janusz?
Uh, maybe I am not 100% sure about that.
Me neither. Next we got Lewis Tully. He was the Ghostbusters lawyer / accountant.
Wait, how does he get it from an accountant to a lawyer?
You questioning that? Not working as a composer, like not working at orchestra from art restoration?
Well, no, because I've seen that happen.
Really?
There are some people who go from that kind of job to more like consistent hours with like art restoration, or even like just working at a museum in general, mostly because of either connection or of a well, you don't really actually need any qualifications to actually become an art restoration besides just some practice in art or what it is you're going to do, because most of the art restoration is taken care of by the lead artist, while the other staff just make sure that everything is just kept in proper condition. Whereas becoming a lawyer actually requires some qualification going to law school. But as he stated before, he is an accountant, which I'm not sure has anything to do with actually being a lawyer. Not to mention that he does a terrible job of actually being a lawyer.
Right. He literally asking the witness what's going on as it's going around, like it's happening. And so now we could talk about Winston. That's my next category. Where's Winston? So I got 3 different instances of him not being there or coming in the last minute. When they're working on the street to find out, like, to see the subway with all the pink slime, you don't see him at all. You see Peter, Ray, and Egon, but no Winston. You see Winston appearing at the beginning of the court case, but gone once the ghost pop up because I guess he went to the bathroom. I don't know. They didn't give a reason, so I should try to give it a reason. But and also when the fire erupts in the picture developments, when they're developing pictures in the firehouse, he just pops in out of nowhere with the fire extinguisher, and before he gets to say one line, they cut to the next scene.
Oh yeah. Although to be honest, I feel like that could be explained by the fact that they're in the firehouse and he is just like somewhere in the office. But the other ones I do get it. It's weird how they just kind of forget him for most of the time and make him just convenient for like when they need an extra man on the scene.
Yeah, once they go to court, he's right there. But once they need help saving the day, he's not there. In that same scene, like they never say where he went. We don't have any information about his background, like, or his like friends or family. Nothing. It's kind of frustrating. And I'm sad. It's frustrating to think that the only reason that they left him in this movie is probably because he was in a TV show.
I thought they tried to keep consistent with the first movie, even though it's like 5 years later.
They can just say that he died or quit.
How could he die when dealing with ghosts? Because in the first movie, people were scared, sure, but no one actually died or even got hurt.
Oh, someone died for sure.
Like who? Because
no one we know, but
if that were the case, if someone died, then wouldn't that come up in court?
It probably did. But like all the collateral damage with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, someone gotta die.
Well, it's never mentioned, nor do they feel any guilt for anything.
Maybe someone was allergic. Maybe someone was allergic to marshmallows, and when the Marshmallow Man exploded and it covered the whole street, some people might have died.
I don't know many people who are allergic to marshmallows, but still, though, that would have come up in court.
But you know a lot of people that work in the orchestra, but then start restoring art.
Why are you bringing that up?
Because it's a weird thing to transition to. It's weird that you know someone that transitioned from that to that. I'm not weird for pointing that out. It's pretty weird.
I know. I said it before. It's a weird change of positions, considering like where she was. But it does make sense with the fact that she wants to have more consistent hours so that she can go back to her family, to her baby that she needs to take care of.
Okay. Also, one more thing is with Winston, we don't have any iconic lines with him in this one. I don't know anyone that's out there spouting Ghostbusters 2 quotes.
I don't know anyone who's spouting Ghostbuster quotes in general, except for you anyway. But I do get what you mean. The first one did have more iconic lines for like each of the characters. This one just felt like they were trying to continue it, but they had no idea in which direction to go, which explains all the deleted scenes for like every now and again. You can tell from when was it Raymond that has the occult?
Yes.
Raymond, you told me that he originally was planned to be possessed when he was looking at the painting.
Right.
And there was even a scene in the beginning of the montage where Raymond is driving and they're looking at him as if he's crazy. that was supposed to be the scene when he was possessed and is driving around the street all crazy. Like,
Yeah, I think it's in the comic book version of this movie.
there's a comic book?
Yeah. Man, they had
Oh.
toys, cartoons.
No, I know they had toys and cartoons. I just didn't know there was a comic book version of this movie. But is the comic book like darker, or is it have a different tone?
Honestly, I don't remember. I was like 8 when I read it. I just remember
All
seeing
right.
that.
I think that the whole idea of this was that they wanted to go for something like a better story than the first one,
That's the
but it kind of got muddled out due to like the fact they wanted to make it for kids because of the impact that the cartoon had, which was more for kids anyways.
I think I know what the problem is with this too. They're letting the story drive the humor, but not letting the humor drive the story like the first movie. Because in the first movie, yeah, it's simple. Ghosts are going around, but we sort of need an explanation of why they're coming around. So they basically said, hey, this interdimensional being wants to come back to our world and destroy it. There you go. This one is, we have this painting, this guy in it, Vigo, and he wants this baby and wants to take over the world or whatever. And yeah, demon baby, New Year's Eve, chaos ensuing. It felt like the story was first and foremost with this, and that's not what you need with this type of movie. We just need them ghost busting, which they don't do for a long period of time. Like the only time that they start doing it is in that courtroom, and that's like 30 to 40 minutes in.
You said 15 minutes.
It cannot have been 15 minutes.
You paused it. It said 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
That's what I remember when we watched it. You said 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
We can pause it right now and see like how long into it.
Yeah, I will. Hold on. Give me a second.
That is the whole problem with aliens, is you just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, Starman, E.T., but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
No, you're wrong, Sergio. The Ghostbusters were just playing with the baby at this time.
So hang on. Let's go to when they ghost bust. How long was that into the movie?
Okay, so around 30 minutes into the movie.
Okay. Wait, no, not 30 minutes. It's a little bit further than that.
Like around 35. Yeah, 35 minutes into the movie. 35 into our Ghostbusters movie.
Wait, hang on. Then that brings up the question. What was the whole point of the court case of making it so long?
Oh my god. Okay, we're going to the court case scene. I have a whole category for this. Let's start with the quote an actual quote from the judge when they first go into courtroom. The law doesn't recognize the existence of ghosts. I don't believe them either. Leave the ghost stories to the kiddies. They got sued for conjuring up the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the collateral damage that followed. And they got sued by every state, county, and agency in New York. And they got stiffed by the bill. How could they get sued for ghosts if the law doesn't believe in ghosts?
This is what I came up with as an explanation for this. Since there was no evidence of actual ghosts, only just eyewitness reports, they determined that it was just, as they said in the first movie, where the EPA guy said they were using a hallucinogenic vapor or some kind of drug to make people think they see ghosts, then charge them for actually pretending to bust the ghost, making it seem as a sort of scam. Now, it doesn't make sense to put them all with the bill because of things that they have no control over. But I see how they were trying to frame it in this movie, saying as they thought it was all just a big scam and tried to make them pay for it. Although it doesn't make sense to do it from every city, state, province inside the New York state, as they were not all over New York. They were just in that one town.
Yeah.
So the humor seems strange to me in this movie.
Strange how?
Because, well, it seemed like they tried to be more funny, but they only went really into certain jokes. Like the joke where they went into the sewer and they were being questioned by the police, remember?
Yeah.
That seemed like the one time they were trying to make like a real performance out of the joke. Whereas the others, they just seemed situational. Which I get it was similar to the first one, but this one the humor felt kind of off. Like how you kind of said it felt like they were going with the story rather than with the jokes.
They forgot what made the first one so special was a fluke. Honestly, let's be honest. The first movie was a fluke. No one expected that to be as big as it was. So them trying to bring it again and saying, basically doing a sequel reset to make it more.
Make it a carbon copy.
Yeah, because I actually brought up examples of other movies that do like sequel resets to make it more understanding of what happened in this one. So
Like which ones?
remember the Hangover movies?
Where they keep doing the same thing,
Yes, and
just
they
in different,
acknowledge.
just in different places.
Yes, Home Alone 2. They got lost in New York. They do the same thing. Literally keep on saying, it's not like the last time, or I did it again.
Actually, that was different. Sure, he's home alone, but he's home alone because he wasn't left behind, but because they got mixed up with the flights.
He met an old creepy old person, then started befriending them, and then then they came back at the end to destroy to help stop the villains.
It's the same story, just different places. Whereas this one is just exactly the same.
Back to the Future.
The Ghostbusters, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future 2 and 3 and 1 actually 1, 2, and 3, all of them. They go to the time period, beat up the bully. They have a chase down the street. They get covered in crap, and
Is that bad?
it's not bad. I mean, I'm just saying that these are examples of movies that do carbon copies, like sequel resets, to where they can, in order to make the movie happen again, we need to do the same thing over again, so people could be like, oh, okay, this is what happened in this one. I sort of get it, or a reason sort of to make more jokes that they missed it out in the first movie.
Wait, when did these movies come out? Like, I know this one came in 1980s, in the 80s, right?
1989 for 2.
Okay. And the Home Alone series, was that in the 80s or 90s?
90s. 91 for the first one, I believe 92 for the second one.
Okay. And for Back to the Future, was that before or after this?
Back to the Future was before that, was in between 1 and Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. It came out in 1985.
I'm sensing a trend here. There seems to be a lot of that happening around this time period.
Well, I got some more that came out later in the late 90s, like Austin Powers 2. I know how much you loved Austin Power movies, Sergio.
No, my sister loved Austin Power movies. I like watching it with her because the humor was funny and you didn't have to take it very seriously. It was the whole point of it was just to make a parody of the James Bond movies. That's why I didn't really take it seriously. It's just funny to laugh at.
Okay. And so like in the sequel, it starts off with Vanessa from the first movie. After they end up getting married in the first movie, she turns out to be a robot and dies, and now he's single again. These are basically examples of movies where sequels where the creators might have had an idea or jokes they wanted to do in the first movie but didn't think to do, and they need an excuse to do them again for the sequel. Or movies that they didn't expect to have a sequel and need a reason to come back because they didn't have any more ideas outside of what they had first. They don't know how to expand on the story.
Do you think that's what happened right here for the Ghostbusters 2? Or do you think they had an idea for what they wanted the story to go through, but they didn't have an idea of how to bring the crew back?
I think they had an idea. They just didn't know how. Also,
to execute it?
Yeah, probably. Because the first one felt like it was a passion project for Dan Aykroyd to make. And so I'm guessing he might have had ideas for sequels.
It makes sense that he had ideas for sequels, because remember that scene where they fell into this big crack into the street?
Yeah. In the first one?
Yeah, you and I both agreed that felt like it didn't need to be in the movie, which gave us the impression that there was supposed to be a much more dramatic shot with a lot more money to it, but they didn't have the money for it, so they just kind of played it off.
Right. Okay, one thing I don't know how they explained in this movie, because they never did, why is their sign, or like their logo, a 2 now?
I never saw that.
Really?
Yeah, I said that during the movie. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, like once they get the Ghostbusters thing coming back together, all their decals and all their logos have the number 2 on them. Like the logo for the movie. Like, I'm wondering how structurally in that movie does it make sense? Even on their suits, they have the new logos.
I can't see it.
Well, right now, for the audience to understand, I'm showing Sergio clips from the movie right now so he can see if I understands what's going on. Because I need him to understand this is an important thing that they never acknowledge. Like, it's understandable for us, the audience, because yeah, it's a sequel, but you don't need that for them. You don't see Spider-Man coming around having a number 2 next to his Spider-Man logo.
Oh yeah, that big sign.
Yeah, so now you see it.
Yeah, the one sign.
No, not the one sign. It's all of it. The car has the decals. The suits have the decals. Everything has the decals. They have stickers. Just trust me on this, man. Even if you look
But I
on,
don't see it on the suits besides that one sign that they had.
you weren't paying attention to it. That's why it was very, very prevalent throughout the whole movie.
I'm looking at the clips you're showing right now. There is none on there, and there's very few scenes with them with their suits on.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
another problem. I'm going through the whole movie. I'm scrubbing through it, and we are having troubles finding Ghostbusters in their Ghostbuster suits. We see more of them in their underclothes, like their lingerie clothes. Nah, not the lingerie clothes.
You mean the pajamas?
Yeah, we see them more in their pajamas than we do in their Ghostbusters costumes, in their
Can't believe you
uniforms.
confused that with lingerie.
What?
You confused that with lingerie?
I was gonna say lederhosen, but I didn't mean to say lederhosen.
Oh my god.
I meant to say lederhosen, okay?
All right, but one thing I do think is interesting about this is that the character development they don't really have too much character development besides for Peter Venkman, which I believe kind of toned down his kind of persona how he was in the first one. He doesn't really change his personality all that much, but he does when he meets up with Dana, he does try and like give her space and not try to use wordplay into getting like trying to get close to her. He does play around with the baby a lot. I thought that was cute, even though you didn't really like it that much. I understand. I understand that.
It had
But
no reason
it
to be
does
in the
seem
movie.
like,
It had no reason to be in this movie.
yeah, I think because of all the deleted scenes, they had to fill up runtime, but they didn't have any idea of what to put in, so they just put in a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think that they did put some thought into the character development for Peter, and it was in this movie. What was his name again? The accountant? I forgot his name.
Louis Tully.
He does seem funnier in this movie than he did in the first one.
Because he thought he was a creep.
Yeah,
He's like
'cause
creeping
he
in
talks
this
about
one.
yes, because he tried to break into her apartment to turn off her TV.
Yeah, in this one he's with Janine, which doesn't connect at all.
No, it doesn't. Mostly because I thought Janine was actually with Egon.
She was almost like they tease it a lot in the movie. There's a lot more deleted scenes that show them together.
Yeah.
Even one that
that
they
didn't really
used.
you told me they retconned this.
Yeah, because in Afterlife you see her give the keys to Egon's daughter after he passed away. So clearly they still have a relationship together. It could still be platonic, but we don't know. Sadly,
I don't think we'll ever know.
she's in a new one. They might acknowledge it.
Maybe, but who knows? Or maybe they might just like leave it as retconned as it is.
Yeah, they do want to keep his memory. Like they still want to keep him up there. Like, do you think he's gonna pop up in a new one?
You mean the ghost?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Because the whole reason why he came back in the afterlife was to say goodbye or to help out, and after that he passes on. So I'm pretty sure that he's not going to come back, or they'll just like honor him by showing a few clips of him.
Probably.
At least that's my thought process, anyways. But what else was I going to say? It seems they replaced Louis Tully's like his role from the first one with the art restorator that Dana works for, which he acts even more creepy actually in this one. He's more of a creep than Louis.
It's the accent,
But
isn't it?
I'm not sure if it's the accent. I think it's just the way he acts. But the accent is kind of weird.
He has the best line.
He says what?
He has the best line in the movie.
What's the line?
If everything you're doing is bad, I want you to know this.
That's not really. I take it back. It's not really the best line, but it is one of the few best lines. There are some pretty good lines in this one.
Have you finished watching Husband Hotel?
Dude, what is? Let's go with this. Yeah. I've seen the rest of Hazbin Hotel. Why?
It's because I feel like there's a lot more lines in there that you would actually like and actually would like repeat on a daily basis.
Okay. I'm looking.
But anyways, like back to this movie, I wanted to say like actually we're seeing this clip. Just as a context, we're seeing the clip of them being put into like
psychiatric
mental institute, and I personally found that hilarious. How they talked to the guy that worked with the mayor. That was was he the governor or was he the mayor in the last movie?
No, that's the guy that's talking to
the
doctor
guy who works with the mayor right now. That's running for, what is he running for? Governor?
I think so, yeah.
that he was the mayor in the first movie, and the guy who's working with him now that's doing the role of the jerk character,
Walter Peck,
who is
watered down Peck.
yeah, yeah, he got them institutionalized into this mental hospital by saying they're crazy. And it's interesting that you told me that the doctor that he's talking to is actually Bill Murray's dad, which we joked is kind of like similar to how when you introduce your parents to your friends.
Oh yeah, saying, "Dad, you don't understand. Dude, my friends and I need to stop this crazy guy in a painting that's gonna get rid of his baby and take over the world." I'm sorry, what? You're staying inside. Don't talk to these kids anymore. Go in the house. Well, let's talk about the cameos in this movie. Because
There's cameos?
there are cameos, yeah. So
Oh, I must have missed them.
you absolutely did. So early in the movie, when you see Ray and Winston going to the kid's birthday party, one of the two kids that talks to him saying that my dad says you're full of crap. That's actually Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, the director of the movie, and the director of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Okay, I thought you were gonna say wow or something.
Oh,
Bobby,
hang on. I was trying to get my head around that. How old is he now?
Jason Reitman?
Yeah.
Let me check. Oh, he's 46 years old.
Wow. That's actually surprising considering I've seen how young he is right here.
Yeah, but this is 1989. That's not really
I
long
know.
ago.
It's still surprising. When did the Afterlife come out?
2021.
Oh, okay. Well, the timeline matches up, but it's still surprising.
I'm looking at his filmography right now. You know he did Juno?
Juno?
Wait, no. Yeah, he did do Juno.
What's that?
Oh, it's a good movie with Elliot Page and Michael Cera about teen pregnancy. Anyway,
Was that his first film, or was that like into his career?
that's the second movie.
Mm.
But
I noticed a lot of new directors. They go for very like obscure topics. We talked about this when we saw what was it, Frankenstein?
Lisa Frankenstein?
That a lot of new directors, they go for very obscure or weird topics during their first films.
Yeah, sort of so they can get after I think it's so they can find a good base ground of where they want to start and work the way around so they can figure out how they want to put their thumbprint on each movie.
Yeah. Although I would usually guess that making like such obscure films like that would probably make it harder for them to try and figure out what it is they want to do because of all the strange stuff that happens in it. It's hard to get a concentration point on where it is you're actually making an impact.
Right.
But anyway, back to the movie. What do you think your favorite part with the movie was? I know you didn't like it all that much, but was there anything that you specifically thought was pretty good?
Kinda, yeah. It's very small, but I think it's the scene where the Statue of Liberty starts walking. I like the effect. That's mainly it. And also I like the song "Higher and Higher" that they use on it.
Oh.
Even then, they had to kind of ruin it by having Cheech Marin look. They reuse the same video footage of him looking at the Titanic. That's another cameo, by the way. Cheech Marin in it. Him saying,
Well, better late than never.
when you see the Titanic.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
It's funny, but then they use that same footage of him looking when you see the Statue of Liberty walking.
Mm. But like you said before, there's a lot of like cuts to these scenes. So I mean, I kind of expected that like they were going to reuse some scenes, especially kind of like out of their original context. So it's not unexpected, but it is disappointing.
Yeah. I got some other few notes I want to bring up. So, Slimer, the reason, you know why Slimer was in this movie?
No,
It's because that he was in a cartoon.
I'm kind of confused on why he's the kind of like the mascot.
Because in the cartoon, he's just basically the pet that's just around. He's just help trap ghosts, which is pretty messed up when you think about it.
He's supposed to be like what kind of ghost is he? Was he human before, or was he some kind of animal?
Okay, there is a whole wiki about Slimer. I guarantee you it's gonna tell me what Slimer is or was. He's basically just pure ectoplasm. That's basically
Oh,
what
okay.
it is.
So he's not really a ghost. He's more of a concentration of the ectoplasm that has been gathered by ghosts into this new kind of organism or some kind of spirit.
Right.
So he was never actually alive.
I like to believe so, yes.
Huh.
And also, there's a deleted
The-
scene. Oh, sorry, continue.
Okay, we'll continue after that. But I was gonna say, like, does that mean that the proton beams, do they work on him? Because if he's a concentration of ectoplasm, does that mean that the proton beams work on him, or do they not? Or is he just harmless to the fact where they didn't really pay too much attention about putting him in a trap?
It worked on him because you see him go into the trap. I guess they just felt bad for him, I guess. I need to rewatch the cartoon and see if they explain it or not, because I don't think they explain it in the cartoon, but there's a bunch of episodes, so they might.
They might explain it, but it just feels like they just have him on there as comic relief.
Yeah, and I think he's also voiced by Frank Welker, who voiced Scooby Doo. He voiced Scooby Doo and Fred from the cartoon, Scooby Doo cartoon.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not in the movie, I mean, but in the cartoon he was. I should be more specific.
All right, and you were saying about the deleted scene?
Yeah, there's a deleted scene where it was gonna have Louis Tully try capturing Slimer all across the firehouse. That's why there's a shot where you see him just eating his lunch and running away.
Oh, I thought it was just part of the montage of just Slimer being Slimer.
You think, but no, there's a whole paragraph explanation on almost every single scene in the montage.
Wait, who was trying to catch him? Was it Tully or the Ghostbusters?
Louis.
Oh, okay. I guess it's kind of like it was his. I guess he used that as training to try and become a Ghostbuster.
Right. Wow, these winds are crazy right now. I wanted us to pick it up on the audio.
I don't hear anything.
All right. There's also the funniest character in this whole movie is Egon.
Oh yeah, we talked about this during the movie that he seems to have a lot more comedic moments than he did in the first movie.
He had some comedic moments in the first movie. It's just that he
No,
wasn't.
that's what I mean. Like he had a lot more in this movie than he did in the first movie. He was funny in the first movie, but in this one, it's like they kicked it up a bit more.
Right, and they even allude to him sleeping with the slime.
What?
Remember when they say like, "Hey, I picked up some more of that pink slime that we found, and we run a test on it. We put it in a microwave. We did everything with it." And you see Peter Venkman say, "You're not sleeping with it, are you?" And he doesn't respond at all.
Well, then you know what? Now that brings up the question: like, how is it that this guy has a family?
Oh my god! Oh god!
That explains why we never see the mother.
Oh my god, Sergio, shut up! Shut up!
Don't tell me that you want to defend this movie.
I'm defending my Ghostbusters. I don't care about the movie. I care about the characters, and I don't want them to be tainted on like that. Don't you dare!
They could use the proton packs on themselves and prove it.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! We're on Zoom right now. I can come over where you are and smack you on right now. I will tell you to shut up and stop you. I will get my proton pack and whack you on the head with my PKE meter.
You don't have one.
I'll buy one.
When? Next year?
No, now. Amazon's real. Amazon's a thing.
I know, but I know you can't afford it.
Funny enough, I just got my paycheck today, like a couple minutes ago.
Really?
Yeah. I got them dollar bills, son.
I don't know where that's from.
You don't need to know. You just need to know I got money. Anyway, so another thing I got to point out is we already discussed it for a while, but yeah, Winston has equal to or less than the screen time he did in the first movie.
I thought it was about equal because they mostly sprinkled it like all over the place, even though they do cut it out a lot for no apparent reason.
Right. Oh, you know what? That is a funny scene I liked. Is when they're under in the sewer in the subway and the ghost train goes by. He does give a funny line there where it goes by. He's like, "Did you catch your license plate?" He's like, "I missed it." That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Although it is kind of interesting, like how this director didn't really give him much screen time, but his son, the new director, gave him much more prominence in the story. Because in the new continuation in Afterlife, he is actually a rich entrepreneur.
Right. And so he can have way more money and he's gonna have way more of a point to be in a movie. And I'm so happy to see that recognition.
Actually, I pointed this out saying like when you first introduced me to Ghostbusters, I had saw the 2016 version before because my sisters liked it. But I questioned why Winston was in the team because I didn't see him contributing anything. because in 2016, the reason why they had each character in it because two were mathematicians, one was an inventor, and the other one knew New York like the back of their hand. And then I asked, why was Winston in there? And you told me that is because he had the same role, but he didn't really demonstrate his knowledge of where the buildings were or anything like that. I felt like in the 2016 version, they tried to do the same thing, but tried to give each character their own prominence, but it didn't work out as well as they thought it would. And throughout the entire films, Winston didn't seem to do much besides be part of the group.
It bums me out knowing how much they could have had him in the movie, but just didn't do it.
Yeah, and it feels like they didn't really put much thought into his character. Well, I guess it's because they were originally planning for Eddie Murphy to be part of it, right?
Right.
So yeah, I get that, but still, it's kind of disappointing they didn't do much with his character.
Yeah, but now he's getting the recognition he deserves.
Yeah, I am curious though.
About what?
Like they explained that the slime was underneath the city in these kind of abandoned sewers. I'm wondering where the slime came from because they don't really explain how it is like this buildup of slime that works off a negative emotion or even like causes negative emotions like anger, like how they did when they were going to kill each other and then they had to strip off all their gear to get the slime off. They never really explained like how it is that got there.
They really don't. And I think at that point they just wanted the movie to be done.
Yeah, but then it also brings up the question, like in the first movie, they said how Gozer was somehow being ready to reawaken, but they didn't really explain how. They just said it was an ancient deity or an ancient extraterrestrial interdimensional being that somehow gained power to come over this time. Not really sure why.
Because reason, Ghostbusters. We need reason for ghosts.
Did they give a reason for afterlife?
Yeah, but we'll get to that.
Or was it just like some ghost is starting to come over, so now we gotta get the Ghostbusters together to fight it?
They gave a really good explanation of why like ghosts are coming back again.
Oh, I guess we'll have to rewatch that and talk about that later. We'll do that in a different episode.
In 2 weeks we will.
Oh, okay. So what else is there to talk about? I feel like we covered a lot.
Let me check my notes. Some trivia. So Bill Murray wasn't happy with the film, and he went so far as to say that he was tricked into doing it by the studio executives who initially agreed to the concepts Harold Ramis created, only to turn around and demand changes when filming started. And Rick Moranis was also unhappy with the movie, calling it a disappointment. William von Humsberg, the actor who played Vigo, was not pleased when he learned all of his lines were dubbed over by Max von Sydow, and he left the premiere of the movie in anger upon seeing this. So yeah, basically everyone was really happy to be on set and were able to do this because they really had a passion to make the sequel.
It sounds like this was all modeled out by studio interference.
Absolutely, this is clearly a studio decision and not a creative decision.
Yeah.
There's also one more thing we need to talk about, Sergio.
What?
Here's a quiz.
All right, let's get it started.
What television show does Peter Venkman host? The Telekinetic Paranormal, Predictions of the Psychic, World of the Psychic, or The World of the Telekinetic?
Ah, shit, I don't know this. Let's try World of Psychic.
World of the Psychic, are you sure?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right. Ow, that's loud. Okay, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, audience. That was correct, actually. And so we're going number 2. What date does one of Peter Venkman's psychic guests believe the end of the world will come? 1st of April 2016, December 25th, 2016, February 14th, 2016, or January 1st, 2016?
I think I know this. It is 25th December 2016.
Wow, it's real loud. I didn't mean to bring it out loud. I am sorry. Really, I am off my game today. Wrong.
You really need to check those.
I will check it. You just keep getting answers wrong and see how that goes.
All right, then. Okay.
Wrong. The answer was February 14th, 2016.
Oh, February 14th. Oh.
Where did one of Venkman's ghosts get the information that the world would end? A dream, a ghost, an alien.
Wait, did you say ghost?
Yeah.
You mean guest?
No, ghost.
No, it says right there, Peter Venkman's guest.
Oh, I said guess. Ghost is one of the options. I mean, I'll say it again because we both got tangled up in it. Question 3. Where did one of Venkman's guests get the information that the world would end? A dream, a ghost, an alien, or a vision?
All right, I know both of them said one of these. Because I know one of them said an alien, the other one said a vision. So I'm gonna go with a vision.
Sorry. Dude, shut up! We can't be swearing so much! Shut up! There are kids listening! There
You
are
wanna try that
kids! No! Just God.
Wait, we have kids in our audience?
Yeah! It's Ghostbusters
All right,
2, there's
kids.
always kids.
This is what you want to do if you want to become famous. You gotta do a trend, and then you gotta make that trend your whole identity. Then you just
Stop it.
abuse the hell out of it.
You're gonna make a whole new breed of influencers. Stop it. Shut up.
We're already trying to be influencers.
We don't
This is
need
basically
more.
what influencers do.
We don't need more
doing
competition.
Yes, we're doing movie reviews. This is what influencers do.
You're influencing the influencers. Don't do that. We need a competition. We don't need more competition.
Man.
God.
All right. Next question.
Question 4. What's the name of the mayor's assistant? James, Peter, Jack, or Mark?
James.
Nope. Jack.
Oh.
Who plays Janusz Poha? This is a type. You have to say it, Sergio. I'm not gonna tell you the questions.
No, I know. I just don't know his name.
I said it multiple times. Or
I
at
didn't
least
really pay attention.
The disrespect. Just name any name. Don't look it up. You got 5 seconds.
I'm not looking it up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, buddy. It was Peter McNichol.
Peter McNichol?
Peter McNichol.
I don't remember that. I remember the name Peter, but I couldn't remember his last name.
What book did Venkman order from Ray? Magic Paths to Glory and Power? Magic Paths to Fortune and Glory? Magical Paths to Fortune and Power? Or Magical Paths to the Paranormal?
Magical Paths to Fortune and Glory.
Sorry,
Oh,
today is
come
just
on.
not your lucky day. The answer was Magical Paths to the Fortune and Power. Question number 7. What is the name of Ray's store? Raymond's Paranormal Occult? Ray's Occult? Ray's Mystical Magic? Or Ray's Magic Occult?
Raise a cult.
Finally, got it right. Good job. Question number 8. What was Egon's response to Ray's question, have you ever done this before? A, on a hamster, B, on a chimp, C, on a rat, or D, on a monkey?
On a monkey.
Where would you have gotten a monkey? It was a chimp.
That's what I remember from the movie.
No, you didn't. You didn't because you got it wrong. Question number 9. Approximately how old is baby Oscar? 8 months, 6 months, 12 months, or 8.5 months?
8 months.
Correct. Good job. You got two question streak. Question number 10. What did Egon's parents not believe in? Toys, science, the paranormal, or telepathy?
Toys.
Right again. Question number 11. What was Vigo? A monkey, a powerful gladiator, a powerful magician, or a powerful king?
I thought he was a king, but they also mentioned in the movie he was a powerful magician.
You can only choose one, buddy.
A magician.
Magician? You
Yeah.
are correct. Question 12. How old was the main... No. Question 12.
Take a deep breath, man. You got this.
Question 12. How old was the man in the painting when he died? 105, 108, 110, or 115?
I don't remember this one too well, but I'm gonna gamble it and say 105.
Correct. Question 13. What names was Vigo not known as? Vigo the Cruel, Vigo the Unholy, Vigo the Torturer, or Vigo the Butcher?
Wasn't he all of this? I'm gonna go with the Vigo Which one was it? I remember them saying all of this at one point, but Vigo, the crew?
No, but it was. Oh my God, Sergio, you need to shut up. You need to stop with that. You know how hard it is for me to censor things?
Not that hard.
Yeah, but I have to do it.
Exactly.
I should get a censor bar on the ready just in case he starts cursing. What is this? Eddie Murphy Raw? Question 14. Where did the Ghostbusters dig the hole? 1st Avenue, 5th Avenue, 4th Avenue, or 2nd Avenue?
I don't remember this. I'm just gonna guess and say 2nd Avenue.
Wrong. 1st Avenue. They said it during the court proceedings. Question 15, our final question. When Judge Wexler passes the sentence, how much are the Ghostbusters fined? $45,000, $25,000, $15,000, or $55,000?
45.
You sure?
No,
You should probably be sure.
I'm not.
Wow, you made it really depressing, dude. Wrong. It was $25,000. And that concludes our quiz for this week. Good job, Sergio. You got a lot of them wrong, and most of them not really good. Anyway, let's wrap up our ratings for Ghostbusters 2. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It's not the first one by far, and it probably might have hindered itself by coming out too late. Then have a big gap between the first and second one, because when you have a gap like that, you expect it to be like, oh, we're just waiting for we have the right story to make. Like, where I feel like it's driven by the story, not by the success of like franchise or want to make more. But it's not. If it's just trying to make another sequel, it just came out way too late on that account. What about you, Sergio? What's your rating?
Actually, my rating's about the same, about a 3. It was funny at some parts, but overall the movie is not as entertaining as the first one could be.
All right. And that concludes today's episode of Brick Wall Cinema, focusing on Ghostbusters 2. We'll see you next week to talk about Ghostbusters 2016. Oh, that's going to be a big one. Probably. Might not even be a long review. Might just be us talking. We're going to curse. We're going to talk. We're going to chat. We're going to have some fun.
I thought you didn't want us to curse.
We're not going to curse. You're going to curse, and I'm going to tell you not to curse. And we're going to improvise just like they do in the movie and do not. But unlike the movie, we're not going to go on for more than we're welcomed. Hey-o! All right. Well, I'm Chance.
I'm Sergio.
And have a cinematic day. Hey everyone, thanks for listening. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok at Brick Wall Cinema. Have a cinematic day.